Hey guys, Rob Levin here, and in my commitment to try to build in public and try to do videos on things that come up that are real, I stumbled on an interesting thing. I'm rewriting agnostic UI, and I have a drawer which contains a dialog or uses a dialog or wraps a dialog. And I'm doing this in Lit, which is a library around web components. And I was trying to figure out how should I pull this in. Actually, what happened was I ran my linter. So if you look down here to the bottom left, you can see I get an error. Then I'm not using this agnostic dialog thing, which obviously it's grayed out, so I'm not. So I was thinking, well, how do I ensure that this dialog has registered itself on the custom element registry? Remember, web components have to register themselves to be usable. How do I ensure, say if I'm pulling this in a spec, which I'm actually doing here, how do I ensure this thing's actually registered itself and it's been imported and everything? So I was doing a little bit of research, and all you have to do is you just import it, and you just import it straight away like this. And by doing this, it'll self-register. Your linting error will go away. And then also, I don't know how far back I have this test. I should be able to run this test. My tests pass. Good, good, good. And so what's happening here is I'm testing my drawer, and the drawer in agnostic UI simply wraps the dialog. Dialog is like a modal, and the drawer specifically slides in as a sheet on the top or bottom, or a drawer on the left or right. Sheets and drawers, that's a whole nother topic. It's useful for me to keep track of them that way, but sheets can be top or bottom too. I digress. Anyway, so now here I'm using dialog to define the type of things, so I'm not going to get the warning. But in drawer and the system under test, I'm actually not using agnostic dialog in any meaningful way, but to actually call the element down here. I mean, not call it, but to actually use the custom element that's created. All right, so I was kind of wondering, well, how do I do this properly? And so I'm going to delete this now, and that seems to be the way. And let's go look at the docs just to make sure we cement in what we're talking about. This is the lit documentation, and then this is MDN. So let's start here. So the custom element registry is the formal name for when you do custom elements define with a web component. And so this is what we're trying to ensure has our custom component. In this case, it's the AG dialog. And in lit, we have two ways of doing it. We can use this decorator. It doesn't show here, but I'd have to import this from lit decorators. And this allows me to put it before my class, which is kind of convenient. But what it's doing under the hood is basically exercising this global custom elements, which is that custom element registry. And you define your component and you map it to your class, right? So now once you've done this, then anywhere else you can start to use bracket notation and treat simple greeting like it's an HTML element. But we have to do that first. So I thought this was a slightly interesting thing. How do I import it into sort of a parent class, because drawer is a parent of dialog in this case? How do I import it without actually saying, using in ES6 notation like import AG dialog? Well, I see it's grayed out. I don't need it like that. So you simply delete everything to the quotes, and that's what you do. So that's today's video.